What's going on, everybody? Super Saiyan Player back at it again with another Dragon Ball Super update. Guys, Dragon Ball Super Broly, the movie, is now the highest grossing Dragon Ball movie ever. It surpassed Resurrection F, and at the time of this recording, it earned about a 98 million, but we're going to count it as 100 million because it's bound to break it now of the weekends here. And regardless of the fact that it's everywhere on the internet now and it's being pirated, it's currently the 12th highest grossing anime movie of all time. This is major for the Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball brand in general, because now that they've broken these records, for just for reference sake, Resurrection F made about 70 million, I believe, and that was ranked at 17th highest. So they're gaining more revenue as time goes on. Dragon Ball is better than ever, and I think for this movie especially, it was well earned. Not only did they canonize Broly, they canonized Gogeta, and they showed us his base form for once in a movie, and technically they showed Bardock's newest type of form of origin. They canonized Gine in animation form rather than just the manga. So this is why this movie did so well. The plot was just great, the animation was great, everything about this, they brought their A game. It's probably one of the best, most well animated movies I've ever seen. And I mean, in references to like whatever's higher on the list, I mean, I believe Your Name, that movie is on the top of the chart. That's #1, and that's well deserved. Dragon Ball Super movie Broly, this one, 100 million, 12th place. That's actually pretty damn good. And I think 2 Pokemon movies are above that, and it could be the first 2 if I'm not mistaken. I didn't get to see the full list, but Pokemon the first movie and the Lugia movie, oh my god, those are great movies as well. But where is this gonna take the brand? Now, what you guys, a lot of people don't know is that a lot of the big money in Dragon Ball is the licensing for toys and stuff like that. That's how they just kind of leaked the fact that Dragon Ball Super episodes are in development. That's how we all found out that news about a week ago. And that's where the money is. It's over $1 billion industry there. So the toys are where the money's at, and even though they only earned 100 million, which I mean in retrospect that looks like a lot, there's so much more money to be made from the action figures, the branding, the marketing, the video games, the toys, everything. So that's why this is such a big deal. $100 million from this alone, especially with a limited release in movie theaters, especially out here in the West. It was only out for like for what, 2 weeks now, and I think that's as long as it was gonna run anyway. And it was very, very hard to find a movie theater for these because it was jam-packed. So if they actually did like a real full release where they're actually advertising this on buses and advertisements on TV, because I didn't see any of that over here in the West, but besides like maybe YouTube, if they did a bigger marketing campaign and stuff like that, I think it would have pulled even more money. But it just shows you how far the Dragon Ball culture has grown and why it's still going to continue. With that being said, over $100 million in sales and this many people watching it, I mean, are they going to continue the show with the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie arc, or are they going to skip that as well? That's my biggest concern here, because with so many people watching this movie, and clearly it's the biggest ever and one of the most successful things ever, why would they want to redo this in the show as an arc? Literally, this is what they did with the old movie Battle of Gods and Resurrection F, and in my opinion, those parts of Dragon Ball Super were some of the lackluster parts, especially Resurrection F. If you guys didn't remember, the animation crisis that was going on back then, it was literally done like right after they finished the movie, so the animators were kind of bored with it as well, and they was just really rushed. And there's no way they'd be able to top what they did here with this movie, because being one of the greatest animations of all time, you cannot top that in a weekly series. So is it better for them? I want you guys to comment down below. Is it better for them to skip the arc and just go straight to Moro or some slices of life episodes until they stall out some time for the manga to develop and then jump to Moro, or their concept on Moro if they decide to release these episodes this year? Or should they redo parts of the movie, but instead of rushing through the fighting sequences, give us more of the story elements that we missed out in the movie? Because in the movie itself, there's some serious pacing issues with moments like Bardock's death. If you guys didn't know, in one moment right before he was about to be destroyed by Frieza's attack, he had broken armor and everything. It was as if we saw the Bardock movie happen again, but behind the scenes, and they didn't show all of that. A lot of things were cut, so that could have been saved for the anime or a director's cut movie of the film, but regardless, I would prefer more story-driven elements in the anime if they decide to go that route and make them stretch it out rather than seeing more action, because I think with this movie, the action you can't beat, and I feel like I got what I wanted. I got my money's worth from this movie. I mean, they even used Stardust Breaker on Broly, so like literally everything I could have wanted from animation-wise and fighting-wise, we got, and I think everyone felt satisfied from that. It's the story part, and I feel like with the anime, they can correct that if they wanted to, and use that to stall out more time, if anything. Just take a page out of the Naruto playbook. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Should they bring back this movie in anime form and stretch it out for like an entire series or arc and then move on tomorrow? I mean, technically, I think they can pull maybe 20 episodes at the very least out of this movie and put it into a story and stall out. That's 20 weeks at least of content for us to watch, and then have them jump into Moro's arc, where they're gonna probably dive into more detail with that as well. But currently, at the time of this recording, they're still just finding out what Moro can do, and he's just arrived to Namek using his telekinesis powers to slam Vegeta down to the ground. But $100 million in revenue, Dragon Ball is growing now more than ever. This is exactly why they're not going to cancel it. And last year, this is why we thought they were crazy for this, is because they stopped the show when it was at the height of its popularity. And this movie proved the hype train is still going, it's still going strong. They have to capitalize on this, because they regained all these old fans and new fans with Dragon Ball Super that disappeared for years, and they only started returning when Battle of Gods came out, because there was a huge drought of Dragon Ball content, and now they have this hype train, so they have to strike while the iron is hot. And that's why video games are coming out every single year, and they're all quality video games in my opinion that have been coming out recently, especially with the success of Dragon Ball FighterZ being one of the most recent ones. That one, it broke records everywhere as well, and it has the Dragon Ball Super characters, Dragon Ball Super DLC packs coming out, Xenoverse 2, and now this new game as well. So with the movie in combination with a new anime hopefully launching this year, or the episodes launching in continuation, Dragon Ball Super Part 2, quote unquote, let's call it, this is what's gonna make this franchise get taken to the next level. And especially when they keep releasing movies like this, it's also great. But also in the comment section below, do you guys prefer them releasing movies every year, or would you rather them put it out in an anime series? Now, there's pros and cons for this. I actually love both, and here's the pros and cons. With the movie like Dragon Ball Super Movie Broly, the good part is you're gonna get the most quality animation you can possibly find, because it's a movie, it's on the big screen, this is where all the hype's gonna be. It's absolutely gonna be amazing, and they have a lot of great moves that they can squeeze in there because of the animation timing that they get for this piece of quality work. But the story can fall flat because of, well, not fall flat on its face, but it can be diminished because of the fact that it's a time constraint. The same thing happened with Resurrection F for me. I felt like Battle of Gods was more story driven than most of them, and then Resurrection F, it was more action based, and this one was a bit of both, but having a lot of that story cut up for the action. In the anime, at least they get to focus on the story as much as they want. We get weekly content, and every Saturday it's as if we all gather around and we get to talk about it in one big community all over YouTube, everywhere. And it's just like more of a culture type of thing for me. So, I mean, in retrospect, you never see any crappy animation really from the movies, and that's the good part. You won't get any episodes like Dragon Ball Super Episode 5 where it's wonky animation, but you have to wait an entire year. It's quality over quantity, and it's good. I mean, that's usually what I live life by, but at the same time, you get moments from the anime where it's like Dragon Ball Super Episode 130, where that's basically movie level quality, and that's where some of the hype is as well with that series. So it works both ways. If I was to, and there's also a third option, if they could do it seasonal, like what they're doing with Attack on Titan, keep the animation quality, but release it in seasons rather than push it weekly, which causes a problem with the pacing of the manga and the pacing of the animation timing. If they do it in seasons, it's like the best of both. You'll get somewhat level movie. It's not gonna be as good as Broly movie, but somewhat quality animation, and you get it in a burst of maybe 12 episodes, giving time for the manga to be progressed and everything like that. So that's the in-between, that's the less extreme. I think seasonal would actually be good as well, but for me, I mean, I before I actually preferred movies, but now if you think about it, I actually prefer weekly episodes, because there's just something about having Dragon Ball waiting there for you every Saturday. Especially, a lot of us felt this when Dragon Ball Super ended last year, where it's empty on Saturdays. I don't have that much of a life, and it's like, Saturdays is what made me happy. Just coming home after whatever, and then just seeing the episode waiting there for me. It's as if Goku and the squad are waiting for me, and then you guys as well. So I prefer the weekly anime, and hopefully they do step up the animation quality by changing up the animation style to something similar to that of the Broly movie, because that's a new animation style and it's easier to animate with this type of style, minus the 3D animation, stuff like that. But hopefully they do that and they can push out more quality content. Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, $100 billion. Let me know what your thoughts and opinions are in the comment section below, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Smash that like button, subscribe. I'll be seeing you guys next time. Take care. Peace.